Welcome everybody to the Darkhorse experience.
Yo.
All right, yeah. Today we've got a fun one, but very first, because again I love to talk. I like everybody to meet our special guest of the day.
What's up?
Michael
How you
Sculty.
doing?
Scotty!
What's up,
Welcome,
bro?
sir.
Glad to be here.
Before we get into it, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Started out, I met Zach back when we were like, 15, 16,
Yeah.
working at a family recreation park, and then eventually met Josh through Zach. Kind of kept in touch over the years, and then kind of didn't talk for a little while, kind of moved around, and then all of a sudden kind of talked up with Zach again. And here I am, and now I'm back in Florida. After I lived in Maryland for a little while, just recently moved to Florida. So
Hell yeah!
Well, I'm
And you're
gonna add a little
wearing
tidbit.
a hoodie.
I gotta
Yeah.
add a tidbit to
yeah,
that.
actually, it's like it was just 90 out today, but I have my AC like super low, so like
There you
it's
go.
freezing in my house, but I can
Oh,
deal
yeah.
with the cold. I can't deal with the heat.
I don't. I'm the opposite. I don't
Yeah.
want to deal with the cold, and I love the heat. All right. Well, welcome.
Thank you.
Tonight's going to be an interesting one. Tonight, gentlemen, we are talking about.
Second Amendment.
Second Amendment!
Yeah.
Right,
So,
right.
this is always a controversial topic.
Yeah.
Something that a lot of people tend to argue about. You know, what to do, what not to do, what they think we should do, what they believe the Second Amendment means, whether it's relevant or not in today's society. Yeah. So let's open up the floor.
Josh, why don't you go?
Well, Zach, I'm actually gonna steal one of yours because I think we should start with the gun laws.
Okay.
So the first question is, I mean, depending on what state you live in, honestly, but what is your opinion on the gun laws as of right now?
Is that for me?
That's for you.
Okay. Cool. Yeah. So short and sweet. I live in Maryland, so I need to put that out there. So everything is very strict. You know, they already have pretty tough stuff. So what I would consider a pretty regulated background check. You know, you can't just roll into a store and get something. To a degree, I can't walk into any gun shop, whatever, and buy a pistol. I do have to go through. You got to submit your application. It's got to go to the police and yada, yada, yada before you can get it. And you got like a 7-day waiting period, or like one of the gun shops around here, he calls it a cooling off phase. The other thing too is in Maryland, if the barrel is stamped heavy, I can go in and get it and walk right out the same day. So technically that's not very regulated. I don't know. I'm a gun owner, so I like the idea of walking into a gun shop and buying what the fuck I want and rolling out.
Right.
I don't think I'm a crazy person, but that doesn't mean my neighbor doesn't think I'm crazy when I'm strolling up the driveway with an AR case. So,
Yeah.
I think we could use stricter regulations around certain weapons, but I could talk for hours, man. So
Right.
I'm gonna field that over to someone else that wants to take over.
Sure. So, living up here in New Hampshire, the live free or die state, we still have regulations. You can't just walk in and buy a gun. You do have to fill out the application. They do have to do a background check, but it is very, very quick. You can get back between, anywhere from 15 minutes to an hour. So
Yeah.
you could buy a gun that day. Now, you can't buy it like before the background check's done. You fill out the application with the weapon or the gun that you're trying to buy. It takes all that information in as well. So then they run it. So they're checking you and they're checking the weapon to make sure that the weapon's not stolen. And they're also checking you to make sure that you don't have a criminal background.
Right.
But it is a very quick process, and then as long as everything goes back, you can buy your gun.
Is that all weapons?
Yes.
God damn.
Yeah, there is no cooldown period because I'm not sure why, to be honest. But now they are. There is no required license for concealed carry anymore. All you have to do is have a carry license, and that covers open and concealed. So they used to be two different ones. You'd have your open carry, and then you have your concealed carry, and you could apply for both. Well, not anymore. Now you can do it. One license covers both of them, because honestly, most people carry concealed anyway. So most people don't just openly carry. They either have it under their shirt or they have it tucked in to their belt. Like it's not a common thing around here to have open carry. But if you want to, you certainly can, and that's your right as a New Hampshire citizen.
So I'm gonna pause you there, Jeff. I was gonna slow clap you, but I figure I'd just go ahead and jump in this time.
No, yeah.
Scotty, I'm gonna ask you a question.
Sure.
When you hear Second Amendment, what does your brain tell you?
Immediately, it's just guns. You know, that's what I think of, at least as soon as I hear it. But
what do you think about your gun laws where you're at?
I mean, I'm sure they're very similar to Jeff's. I mean, I'm in Florida, so I haven't really looked because right now I have a medicinal marijuana license, so I can't buy or anything like that. So right now I haven't really been looking too much into Florida, but I know that right now you don't have to register unless you have concealed carry. So I mean, like you can have your rifles and all that stuff, and your shotguns, your handguns, and you don't have to register them. So it's pretty lax.
Do you think that's fair? Just because you have a medicinal card that you can't go buy a firearm?
No, not at all. Because there's people that get narcotics, like mental health patients and stuff like that, and people that have injuries that get prescribed narcotics. And what's the difference? What's the difference between weed and a pill? It's the same thing.
I dig it. Zach, what was your next topic on this? Because you had something else that popped up.
Yeah, so it kind of goes hand in hand with everything going on right now. It is the current drive towards banning assault weapons. Everyone knows the platform they're talking about. Everyone knows AR-15. Everyone knows that. So I think for me and my question to the group, who everyone can round robin this one, is like define assault weapon. We know they're going to attack AR, but like define an assault weapon. Like where?
Right.
What do you mean, man? I mean, I can take a single shot, right?
Yep.
Yes, I don't have basically their ban stuff is assault weapons with large caliber magazines or clips or however you want to phrase it, drums and all that. So a lot of people will say, and I've got this question asked to me personally, is why do you need an assault rifle? Like, why do you need that? Like,
right.
The only reason you own that weapon is for war. And I said, you're goddamn right.
Yep.
Because if somebody strolls into my home and you aren't invited or you break in, I'm going to kill you. Like that's what I'm going to do. I'm not going to give you a warning. And you know what? The thing is, you're not even going to get greeted with my AR. You're not. I'm gonna shoot you with my pistol. So is that an assault weapon? Right?
Yeah. Right. Like, I think the biggest thing is terminology. So, a lot of people think that the big thing, especially a couple years ago when the bump stocks, which in my opinion are a waste of fucking time anyway, but people were all up in arms about bump stocks and assault rifles. And the big thing was the AR-15. It's highly customizable. There are a ton of attachments, and you can do virtually anything to this gun to make it your own. In order to handle and fire and carry the way you like it. And a lot of people were saying that the AR-15 is an assault rifle, and that's what the AR stands for. And it doesn't. It stands for Armalite Rifle.
Yep.
which is just kind of a blanket term that they use for semi-automatic rifles. It's a semi-automatic gun. It's not fully automatic, so it doesn't stand for assault rifle. So we can clear that air. There's actually no term for assault rifle. It's not an actual term in the gun community. It's something that's a general term that's accepted in ways, but it's not an actual legitimate term. And then assault weapon. I have an assault weapon right here.
Yep.
You're not wrong.
Yep. You drive them too.
Yep.
Ask Europe about that.
I've got 2 assault weapons that I'm permanently attached to. These can be weapons. I can assault people with them.
Yeah.
So what is an assault weapon? It's a term that was created to literally to stir up fear and to scare people.
Yeah.
Clearly, because it doesn't mean anything until you attach it to something. And so they say that this gun is an assault weapon. Yeah, but so isn't this pen. So isn't my hand. So isn't a baseball bat or a crowbar or a fork.
I will pull my drawstring right out, wrap it around your neck, and that is an assault weapon.
Technically, that's an assault weapon.
It's however creative you want to get with it, man.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You know, if I want to beat somebody to death with a frozen orange, that's an assault weapon.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm gonna Denzel this shit with a shot glass. I mean,
So I think terminology when creating laws are very important, and I think the disregard for blanketed terms like assault rifle or assault weapon, I think should be banned from being used. Now, not necessarily, the government's gonna fine you for using a term, because I don't believe in that. I believe in free speech. But I think it should be accepted publicly that these are terms that are used to draw emotion. They're not accurate terms. So
I think it needs to be banned from legislation.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'd agree.
They shouldn't be used. These terms shouldn't be used in legislation whatsoever.
Yep.
Because if they're saying, all right, we're going to ban all assault weapons, well, all right, so now I can't do anything.
Yeah.
Ever.
Take
with
my
anything.
fort.
I'm not allowed. I can't even wear this shirt right now because it could be an assault weapon.
Yeah. North Carolina knows about that. You know,
Right.
take your shirt off.
Yeah.
Twist
Like,
around your hand.
right? So it's.
Didn't they call that the helicopter?
Yeah, you know. All right, so I got a question for everyone, and we're gonna be able to go back and forth because we need to be able to say stuff that we don't necessarily agree with or believe, but it's good. So, removing the terminology of AR-15, Armalite, assault, whatever, the question is, should they ban high magazine capacity weapons?
I don't think there's a need to ban them.
Yeah, right? I think it's an unnecessary tactic, because what's the point? Whether I have one magazine that holds 16 rounds and I have 2 of them, or I have one magazine that holds 50 rounds. Now they want to say, "Oh, well, you know, you have that short time in between loading and reload." But if you're even semi-skilled at reloading, you can be pretty quick at it.
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't take me a whole lot of time. It's like clip, I'm good.
Yep.
It's not something that takes a lot of time. So
It's just more convenient to carry that many more.
Sure.
Well, the argument isn't necessarily about I think it's not so much their argument, in my opinion, is like, and only reason is because I've heard people say this, because I have battled with people about this, is if you've got a platform, whatever you have, and it's got 30 rounds, and some of them are drums at 100, so you've got 30, right? And I don't have to reload. That means I got 30 chances to drop 30 people potentially before I have to reload. So you're right. If I had a 10-round clip, well, then I'll just bring 3 of them. I can do a mag change pretty quick. So whether it's pistol or platformed into a actual magazine, clip, whatever. So I think their argument fails right there for me. I'll just bring more. I'll bring more clips.
Yeah. Like, you can literally stash them everywhere. Your socks, your belt loops, everywhere.
Yeah,
Pockets.
and they're not that heavy. Like,
No.
they're not that heavy.
No, they're super
Yeah.
light. Like, it's a weak argument at best. And I think legislation and regulation want to move around these weak arguments as if they have a leg to stand on. And most of these people have either never owned a gun or never fired a gun.
Yeah.
And they don't know how they work. And I think more regulation does more harm than good. I think when you start to overregulate something, you're now removing the protection that I'm allotting myself and those around me, not necessarily those that I care about. I could be in public with my gun. Something goes wrong. Now I'm protecting myself and everybody around me. I'm making sure that everybody else is safe. It's no longer a personal protection device. It's now a public protection device.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, no matter what the government wants to do, bad guys are going to do whatever they want. It doesn't matter how many laws you put in there. Because if making things illegal stopped them entirely, then we wouldn't have a drug problem.
For sure.
They also don't like to get shot back at. So
Right. And I'll tell you what, I don't know a whole lot of people that were under the age of 21 that wasn't drinking. And yet you have to be 21 to buy alcohol. And yet I drank under 21. Most of the people I know in my life drank under 21.
bad actors are going to get it no matter what you do.
Right?
Absolutely.
Too many guns available right now anyways, so
Yeah.
So
you
Do you,
can't really-
do you
can't
do you
stop.
think that they can even remotely come back and try to take your guns? Do you think that they could come through here, roll through every single state? You think they're gonna gain all the guns?
No.
no.
So
Not in this country, no.
yeah, so you're gonna. I think Mike, we've talked about this offline and everything.
Yeah.
I think you're gonna have a lot of people have to make a tough call. Mike, I believe you use that exact word. You're gonna have to make a tough call
Yeah.
because if some guy comes knocking on my door and it's like armed men, and they look at the registration, they're like, "We see you got blah 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 blah. We're gonna need you to forfeit that right now." And I'm not armed at that moment. Well, I have to make a tough call because then one, it's like, all right, so if I go to war right in this exact moment, I'm probably going to die, which means my children are going to grow up without me. Your wife is going to grow up without you and likely not going to get any benefits and is going to be shamed. And
You could also potentially be putting your whole family at risk by making that tough call.
yeah, and they
Right.
might come in and kill all you. Like they might come in and just kill all of you. And there's stray bullets. I mean, a lot of shit can happen. You know, I like to talk a big game about I would go to war, and I would certainly go to war if it was like it needed to come to that. But like when it comes to, hey man, I'm peacefully asking, like this is law now, give me your guns. That's a very, very tough sell. I want to say no. I want to say get the fuck off my property. But honestly, what are you gonna do? When
You're
they-
either gonna use your gun and shoot at them, and potentially and hope to God you take them all out, or B, they're gonna shoot back, kick that fucking door in, and then they're gonna come get your ass.
And also, this is likely going to be somebody that's like a local cop, right?
Yeah.
I mean, and if it's armed military, he's following orders.
Yep.
So like, this ain't a criminal trying to rob me. He's
Yeah.
following orders. But I would actually plead with him. I'd be like, how could you do this? Like how could you actually follow this order?
Yeah.
Like, and that's what I think might happen is if this shit goes like that, I think a lot of military and a lot of like your backwoods cops in general are going to be like, I quit. Like,
Yeah, for
I'm
sure.
not going to knock on someone's door and say, give me your guns. That's a bad idea.
Yeah.
That's my opinion.
And a clueless motherfucker would be the first one to walk up to your door and do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they
And even if you
probably-
kill them,
Well, our shit's stupid. They'd probably send a letter first, and I'd be like, cool, I'm going to be carrying my guns all the time. Like, I have to be ready now. Like,
Right.
it's so ridiculous. I don't, like, Josh, that's a great question. I don't know if they're going to take them. I think they're trying like hell.
But do you
But-
think successfully it's gonna work?
No.
No,
It can't,
I don't
because
see it working.
No.
you have your robbers and your fucking insane people, and they have guns. Do you think they're gonna give their guns up, or do you think they're even registered
Mm-mm.
where they can come find them?
Nope.
So why would you even try to take any of our guns at this point? You might as well let us keep our guns, give us more guns. That way, it's like Jeff said, now we're not just our own safety, but it's public safety.
Yeah.
Well, I think that if you pass the laws, that's step one, and then you don't necessarily have to have your cops and stuff do it. You can get, I mean, you already have. Look at the state of our country. Look at like how torn we are on one side to the other. You could certainly find people that would be willing to do it, and on top of that, you could bring in, like, if something bad enough happened and there was enough chaos, you could certainly bring in, like, we always hear about it, like the whole conspiracy theory of like the United Nations coming in and stuff like that. And I could see it happening. I mean, if you get enough politicians in that, that agree with that.
Well, I mean, everybody has a price, dude.
Yeah.
Everyone has a price. If you're the one that sit there and say that you don't have a price, you wouldn't do it for a certain amount of money,
Yeah.
you're lying.
Now, do you think we should change the Second Amendment?
To what?
So currently, the Second Amendment stands as it was originally written. A well-regulated militia being necessary for the security of a free state, the right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed.
Yeah.
So, now this was obviously created back in the 18th century, back when militias were far more common, because there really wasn't a government military. Militias were all you had. You went, you protected your state, you protected your people by forming a militia in order to protect your state from other militias coming in and saying, hey, this is ours now. We don't really have legitimate militias anymore. We have groups of people that call themselves militias, like the 3%ers that, they consider themselves a militia, and that's fine, I guess. But
Are you like suggesting that it not necessarily be changed, maybe rewritten?
yeah, amended.
Reworded,
No.
maybe? I
Yeah.
would use.
Well, it's interesting because, I mean, like you said, they had like muskets and stuff like that when it was written. So they had
Sure.
the equivalent of what their military eventually had.
Yeah.
And so what we should have is if that's the case, then we should have the military equivalent, which would be a fully automatic, assault rifle or whatever you want to term it.
It's an interesting point.
I would like to have a tank.
I mean, at this point,
Nah,
I
they're
don't
too
think it
expensive,
matters.
man.
Me
Tank
and
treads
Zach
are
had this
expensive.
conversation where we said that, like, even if we had a fully automatic, weapon, and everyone had an assault rifle, would it matter? They have predator drones. They can blow your head up from like thousands of feet away if they
And
wanted
not
to.
touch your neighbor's house.
Yeah. So,
Yeah, so
Not
I guess
doing
that
anything.
I think that
That's why
brings
I
up-
don't understand the point of taking it, because like you
Right.
got to look at it as like, dude, I could end you at the push of a button and not even get off my chair.
Yeah.
I don't care about you and your gun. So like this whole thing is control, in my opinion.
Yeah. Well, I think that brings up another interesting point of fully automatic weapons. Now they deem them illegal for civilians to own. Do you think that you have more of a right as an adult, as somebody with life experience? Do you think you have more of a right, even though you're a civilian, to own a fully automatic weapon more than the 18-year-old kid that's walking around a military base?
I don't think I should have more of a right. Maybe as the adult, maybe an equal right, not more of a right.
Okay. So you think possibly just
opportunity.
removing the ban of fully automatic weapons altogether?
So you're saying that like just if they were to just say okay, no more, like you can now legally own a fully automatic
Yeah.
weapon.
Like there's a company, Heckler and Koch, or H&K, which most people know. At least most gun owners know. It's a very, very popular company, very well respected among the community. They created a gun, which is one of my one of my favorites, called the G36C, or the G36 Compact. It's in my opinion, an amazing gun. It's a fantastic rifle. It's just as customizable as an AR-15. In my opinion, it's slightly better. But that's just me. That's my personal opinion.
I'm going to cut you off because I'm going to say I would marry you. That's Josh, and you've known how long we played Call of Duty. The G36 is my jam. I drew pictures of it. I've always dreamed of owning one. It is just sexy.
But you can't, because the G36 and the G36 Compact are fully automatic. So now Heckler & Koch makes a semi-automatic variant of it that is similar, but not the same.
It's not the Precious.
It's right. And so they make something that's similar, but it's semi-automatic. It's not the same gun. It doesn't feel the same. It feels like a version of it, but it's not the same. And so if we were to remove that ban, now I could potentially buy a G36C. Now they're not cheap, so I'd have to save up for a little while. But
I think it's always going to come back to people. Me personally, like, fuck yeah, I want a fully automatic gun because I want to put a 100-round, 200-round drum on that bitch and like go to town on my parents' farm at a paper target.
So glad you said farm.
You know, yeah. I'm sure that there were people listening live stream. They'd be like, "Red alert! This flag, this guy."
Flag.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's like, I go and we any of people that we've all, like, most of us have all shot together. We just go and like murder paper targets. Yeah. Like we practice. Like I go and we go and plink and have fun.
Right. But, like, and it's not cheap.
No, and that's the other thing they're doing. I mean, that could be a topic too, because what they've done is they force prices so high to where now we're not even we don't shoot. I don't shoot. Yeah. I don't. It's too expensive. You pull the trigger and you're like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Let me ask you a question. Why do you think the government is so scared of we the people?
Well, that's simple. Numbers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They don't want to. I mean, look, man. If you want to control, like, you take away their weapons, because then, I mean, they already know they could beat us if they really wanted to. It wouldn't be much of a challenge. But if you can, like, strip them of that, and, like, they're already defeating us in so many other ways, so, like, you take the weapons away from them, you're not as dangerous anymore, man. And then you're stripped of everything. So you're just, like, scared, alone, and weak, and can't defend yourself.
Yep.
It's what predators like.
Yeah. Well, I mean, look at...
And they just don't want to kill you. They just want you to suffer as long and as hard as you possibly can.
Well, like, Josh and guys, if they wanted to kill us, we'd be dead.
Exactly.
Yeah.
We'd all be... If they wanted to population control us, we'd all be dead already.
Yeah, look at JFK.
You fucked it. No, I'm not going to say it. I'm not going to go down that.
Yeah.
I'm not going down
that. I was just kidding.
Another topic, man. Shit, I was about to get all into the pandemic, so...
Yeah.
Let me stop there.
No, I think this has been an awesome talk. I think we've hit some really good points, and I think we've kind of opened up the forum, and I'd love to hear what all of our amazing fans have to say about it. Yeah, so...
oh my God, we didn't.
Speaking of amazing fans.
Yeah. No, that's why I was kind of segueing into it.
Damn it.
So we wanted to give a shout out to one of our amazing fans, as my phone literally just locked as I was talking. Oh, you calm down. What is going on?
Whoa, what are you watching, bro?
Whoa, man.
Look, none of your business, guys.
I'm gonna have to edit that out.
Can we just show the world?
Shit's getting weird.
This is getting real weird in here. Stupid videos.
Podcast porn.
Sometimes you get into videos, guys.
But back to it. We're gonna do a special.
Anyways, our amazing
shout-out.
fan, our amazing fan that left us a comment. I believe, and I may be pronouncing this wrong, but Sheila West. Sheila West.
Sheila,
just-
I think.
I think it's Sheila too.
We'd like to say thank you for giving you us your awesome feedback. Definitely brought up some great points, and we thank you. Keep them coming. Yeah, and everybody else, don't forget. Leave your comments. Let us know how you feel. Let us know if you think we're crazy and full of shit.
Definitely crazy.
Yeah,
Definitely
just a
full
little bit.
shit. Good shit.
And if you like what you hear, don't forget to click that like button. Don't forget to click the subscribe button. And if you want to get notifications of every time we upload our new videos, don't forget to click that bell icon. So that way you can get notified when our videos get uploaded. We're trying to do it weekly. Unfortunately, schedules clash, things happen, life happens. So we're trying to do it every week, but yeah, I'd say keep posted on our Facebook page because we're always giving updates. Yeah, I think that pretty much wraps it up, guys.
I believe so.
Cool.
Awesome.
So,
I enjoyed it.
yeah, and don't forget to expect the unexpected.
Deuces, gooses.
Peace.
Later.
Later.